Everyone loves celebrity fan out. That's when you bump into a celebrity and then you send us the picture and we talk about it. Okay, our first celebrity fan out is coming from Rigo O, who watches The Wendy Show on KTTV in Temple City, California. Rigo says, hey Wendy, how you doing? I was in LA when I met Halle Berry. Wow. Scrub face and beautiful, both of you. Rigo says, I felt like I ran into a friend who I've known for years. That's how personable she was when I met her. I think I'm in love. That's wonderful. Yeah, she's a nice girl. Thank you, Rigo. All right, our next celebrity fan out comes from Raphael R, who watches The Wendy Show here in New York, Brooklyn, on WNYW. Raphael writes, hey Wendy, how you doing? I was at work when I met Charlize Theron. Wow. You're cute, Raphael. And Charlize looks great. He says, I work at a hotel. When I approached her outside in the lobby, she thought I was asking for a cigarette instead of a selfie. He goes, I'm glad we cleared up the miscommunication. Nice, thank you. Our third celebrity fan out comes from Ann K, who watches The Wendy Show on WNYW. WendyShow.com in Kampala, Uganda. And Ann writes, hey Wendy, how you doing? I was at a comedy show when I met Lupita Nyong'o. Ann says, Wendy, she's so pretty in person. It's almost unfair. Yeah, she looks good with no makeup too, right? Thank you, Ann. This is our last one, celebrity fan out, and then Ann's coming on. Our last celebrity fan out comes from Layla Z, who watches The Wendy Show on WNYW in Sarajevo, Bosnia. And Layla writes, hey Wendy, how you doing? In Bosnia. I was at a movie premiere a year ago when I met Angelina Jolie. Wow. Guess who took this picture, Wendy? Brad Pitt. Wow. Thank you for the tip, Layla. I love celebrity fan out. If you ever have an encounter with a celebrity, we want to put them on. All right. Our first celebrity fan out comes from Robin P, who watches The Wendy Show in Alberta, Canada. Robin says, hey Wendy, I was at a nightclub back in the day when I met O.J. Simpson. He was chilling with some friends, and we even spotted him at the local diner afterwards for some late night eats. You know what she also said? She commented on how big his hands were. Okay. So look, thank you for that. Our next celebrity fan out comes from Tarnisha, who watches The Wendy Show on WNYW in Harrison, New York. And Tarnisha says, hey Wendy, how you doing? I was at a local pharmacy when I ran into Deborah Messing. That's a good one. I was 6 months pregnant at the time, and she was so sweet. She touched my belly and wished me luck on my pregnancy. Deborah looks good, and so do you. Nice. Okay, our next celebrity fan out is from Tara B, who watches The Wendy Show on KOKH in Oklahoma City, Oklahoma. And Tara says, hey Wendy, how you doing? I was at a basketball game when I met Khloe Kardashian. That's the old Khloe. Okay. It was back when she was married to Lamar, and I asked her for an autograph just so I could peep her engagement ring. Clever. Our final fan out comes from Keisha B, who watches The Wendy Show on WNYW in Elizabeth, New Jersey. And Keisha says, hey Wendy, how you doing? I was watching a film outside Grand Central Station when, watching a movie film outside Grand Central Station when I met Russell Brand. Yeah. So she says, in between takes, he kept interacting with fans, and he came up to me and asked if I would like a picture. Of course I said yes, one of the best moments of my life. Well, the great thing is that Russell will be here tomorrow. And if you have a celebrity fan out, an encounter, I love them. Go to wendyshow.com. Welcome back. It's time for Celebrity Fan Out. All right, I love this. Our first celebrity fan out comes from Michelle B., who watches The Wendy Show on KTTV in Newport Beach, California. Michelle writes, "Hey Wendy, how you doing? I was on a remote beach when I ran into Justin and Hailey Bieber." Wow. Wow. She says, "I actually noticed her first because of her model swagger. We walked back to our cars together and I tried to talk Hailey into camping sometime. They were a very kind and genuine couple." Nice. Thank you, Michelle. Okay. Our next celebrity fan out comes from Sarah F., who watches The Wendy Show here in NYC on WNYW. Sarah writes, "Hey Wendy, how you doing? I was walking to pick up my daughter from school when I ran into Ja Rule." She says, "I knew it was him when I heard his distinct voice. I asked him if he was going to do another song with J-Lo, and he laughed." I love his voice. Mrs. Rule is a very lucky woman. The next celebrity fan out comes from Monica L., who watches The Wendy Show on KDFW in Euless, Texas. And Monica writes, "Hey Wendy, how you doing? 2 weeks into my new job at the airport, I got to meet Chris Hemsworth." She says, "He's really tall and sexy. Needless to say, I love my job." That's a good one. Thank you, Monica. And our final celebrity fan out comes from Sandra S., who watches The Wendy Show on KTTV in Santa Clarita, California. And Sandra writes, "Hey Wendy, how you doing? I was at a theater when my daughter met Garcelle Bouvier." Ooh, fancy. "She was so sweet to my daughter and told her that she was very pretty. Garcelle has flawless skin." Yes, she does. All right, so here's the deal. If you've ever had a celebrity encounter, sharing is always funny. Go to wendyshow.com for everything. Hi. Okay. Time for celebrity fan out, which I love. Okay, our first one comes from Khadijah R., who watches The Wendy Show in Queens, New York. And Khadijah says, "Hey Wendy, I was shopping last year when I saw Cardi B. I told her that I loved her on Love and Hip Hop, and she was so sweet and appreciative, she gave me a hug. But she also gave you the hand, like, don't come too close." Good nails. Okay. The next one comes from Glenn P., who watches The Wendy Show here in New York, New York, on WNYW. And Glenn says, "Hey Wendy, I was on vacation on Fire Island. How you doing? Here in New York, when I met Sarah Jessica Parker. She was at the grocery store when I ran into her, and guess who was with her? Andy Cohen. He's the one who took the picture," he says. Okay. All right. The next celeb fan out comes from Gerald D., who watches The Wendy Show on WJCL in Pine Land, South Carolina. And Gerald says, "Hey Wendy, how you doing?" It never gets old. So, I'm sorry. How you doing? It lights my heart. Okay. I'm a student at Howard University, so you'll never guess who I ran into on campus. Omarosa. Okay? He says, "I asked her for a picture, and she placed her bag down on her X5 BMW and said, "Sure, sweetie, let's find the best light." You guys are lukewarm. Are you sick? Would you take a Dramamine? What is going on with my co-host? You're not feeling the fan outs? All right, look, we don't encourage Suzanne, right? Our final celeb fan out comes from Connie S., who watches The Wendy Show here in New York on WNYW. And Connie says, I went to a concert and crossed something off my bucket list. I got a chance to dance with Bruce Springsteen. She says, I was holding a neon sign that asked him to dance with me, and he called me on stage. He saw I was pregnant, and he asked if it was a boy or a girl. That night was a dream come true. Wow. That's big, Connie. Good for you. Listen, I don't know about them, but I love celebrity fan out. If you ever have an encounter with a celebrity, sharing is funny. It's time for everyone's favorite fan out. I love fan out. It's where you guys share photos of you running into celebrities, and you've had some great celebrity sightings. Our first celebrity fan out today comes from a young lady by the name of Samantha M., and Samantha watches our show in Mount Vernon, New York on Fox 5. And Samantha says, how you doing, Wendy? I was walking down 59th Street in New York and saw Naomi Campbell. At first, she said she didn't have time to take the picture with me, but right before she got into her limo, she turned around and says, I've got a minute. Let's take the picture. That's a good one. I like Naomi Campbell so much, and every time I see her out socially, she always says, I'm such a big fan, I watch the show. Naomi, I say it to you every time, then come by, let's talk. Okay, our next fan out comes from Deshawn, and Deshawn is from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where she checks out the show on WTXF. That would be Fox. Hi, Wendy. I was having dinner in Los Angeles and bumped into Kirstie Alley coming out of a store. Kirstie looked great, and she had no problem taking a picture with me. You know why, Deshawn? Because Kirstie's down with the swirl. Kirstie likes a black man. Kirstie, is that a recent picture? You look hot. So do you, Deshawn. As a matter of fact, both of you look hot together. For real. Okay, let's move along. Our next celebrity fan out comes from a Wendy watcher by the name of Aubrey, and Aubrey lives in San Diego, California, checks out the show on XETV, and Aubrey says, Wendy, my friend Jen and I were shopping at this really nice boutique, and we stumbled across Teresa Giudice from the Housewives of New Jersey. Teresa was super sweet and sat down and took a call from her husband, Juicy Joe, while we got this picture. Look how happy we look, Wendy. Yeah. Yeah, you do look. You do look happy. That's a good picture of you too, Teresa. All right. Cassie is writing in. Cassie watches the Wendy Show on WAGA in Athens, Georgia, and Cassie says, hey, Wendy, my friend and I were in club in town, and we saw Shia LaBeouf. Oh. Look, no, there's more. Shia told us he was in town filming a movie. Wendy, Shia bought me a drink, and I got to take this picture with him. And let me just say, the night did not end there. We smushed. And you know what? And I believe every word of it. Look how cute they look together. Shia, you look almost like the situation there. Kind of like, yeah, I just love Shia LaBeouf. Okay, up next is Mira L., who watches our show on KTTV in Los Angeles, California. And Myra says, Wendy, a couple of months ago, when my college hosted an event, you will never believe who was the guest speaker. Arnold Schwarzenegger. Arnold was there to talk about environmental issues and wanting to do more movies, but he sure didn't mention a mistress or love child. Hey, listen, hey, Myra, where does Arnold really have his hand while you take that picture? Thank you all for your fan outs. Hi. All right. It's time for Celebrity Fan Out. We love this. Our first Celebrity Fan Out comes from Tori S., who watches The Wendy Show on wendyshow.com in London, England. Tori writes, "Hey Wendy, how you doing? I was driving around when I saw Justin and Hailey Bieber." Wow. She says, "I nervously jumped out and asked them for a pic. Then I jumped back in my car before I could say anything stupid. LOL." Wow. Thank you for that. That's a good one. Okay, our next Celebrity Fan Out comes from Nicole H., who watches The Wendy Show on WSVN in Coral Springs, Florida. And Nicole writes, "Hey Wendy, how you doing? I was at a party when I met Gayle King." Really? Hey Nicole, you look like Gayle King too. She says, "She was so sweet and very kind and wearing the coolest necklace I've ever seen." Wow. How do you get invited to a party like that? What do you do for a living, Nicole? Write me back, LOL. All right, our next Celebrity Fan Out comes from Jafet S., who watches The Wendy Show on WNYW here in New York City. And Jafet writes, "Hey Wendy, how you doing? I stumbled up on a pop-up shop when I met Taylor Swift." That's a good one. She says, "She surprised everyone there, and after we took this selfie, she gave me a big hug." I love that. I'll tell you, you might not like Taylor, but I do. She does it right. Our last Celebrity Fan Out comes from Angel H., who watches The Wendy Show on WTTG in Brandywine, Maryland. And Angel writes, "Hey Wendy. I was in NYC with my daughter when I met Will Smith." She says, "He had his security clear the area so we could take this picture." He does it right. He's very nice and never ages a bit. Listen, I love Celebrity Fan Outs. If you ever have an encounter with a celebrity, sharing is funny and it'll make you famous too. Go to Wendy. Welcome back. It's time for Celebrity Fan Out, the Mother's Day edition. All right, these are famous moms. All right, our first Celebrity Fan Out comes from Alex S., who watches The Wendy Show on KUSI in San Diego, California. Alex writes, "I was stationed in Europe a few years ago when I met new mom Meghan Markle." Really? That's a good one, Alex. He goes on to say, "She was taking part in a USO tour with a few other celebrities and she was lovely." Wow. Wow. Congratulations too on Meghan's baby boy. Congratulations, Meghan. Archie's here. Okay. Our next Celebrity Fan Out comes from Kathy E., who watches The Wendy Show here in New York on WNYW. And Kathy says, "Hey Wendy, how you doing? I was in Central Park when I ran into new second-time mom, Hoda Kotb." That's a good one. Oh my gosh. Kathy says, "I yelled to her, 'I think you're awesome.' No disrespect to Jenna Bush Hager, but I think we could be the next Kathy and Hoda." That's funny. That's funny. Thank you for that, Kathy. All right, our next Celebrity Fan Out comes from Matt C., who watches The Wendy Show on WFXT in Vermont. That'd be Vernon, Vermont. And Matt writes, "Hey Wendy, how you doing? I was outside of a 7-Eleven when I saw Modern Family mom, Sofia Varga." Wow. That's a good one. So he goes, "I asked her for a pic and she said in her famously sassy accent, 'Yes, but make it quick.' I guess she was in a hurry to get a Slurpee." That's good. Thank you, Matt. This is our last fan out. Our last Celebrity Fan Out comes from Shanice A., who watches The Wendy Show on WNYW in the Bronx, New York. And Shanice says, "Hi, Wendy, how you doing? I was at work when I met Empire's fiercest mom, Cookie, AKA Taraji P. Henson." Wow. You caught her chilling. She says, I was so nervous that I was shaking. My work day definitely went from boring to amazing. I would love to know where you work, Shanice. She looks so happy and chilling with you. Anyway, I love Celebrity Fan Out. Thank you all for yours. If you ever have a celebrity encounter, sharing it is time for Celebrity Fan Out. Our first fan out comes from Christopher C., who watches the Wendy Show here in New York on WNYW. And he says, hey, Wendy, how you doing? I'm sorry. When I heard my favorite singer was at a restaurant, I dropped everything and ran over to meet Mariah Carey. What a nice picture. He says, when I saw her, I pointed to my Vision of Love tattoo, and she giggled, and she said that I was cute. Then we took a few photos. It was like a dream. Wendy, she will always be my baby. Our next celebrity fan out comes from Tambria E., who watches the Wendy Show on WHBQ in Memphis, Tennessee. Tambria says, hey, Wendy, how you doing?
How you doing?
I'm sorry. The tickets are free. You can come and do that also. Anyway, she says, I was at work when I met Olympic figure skater Nancy Kerrigan. I made a beeline for her and asked her to take a picture with me, and she was sweet as can be. Thanks, Tambria. Okay, our next celebrity fan out comes from Nakia T., who watches the Wendy Show on WNYW in North Plainfield, New Jersey. And Nakia writes, hey, Wendy, how you doing?
How you doing?
I was able to score VIP tickets to a concert and got to meet Escape. Wendy, I can't sing, but I'll be happy to stand in for Candy if she leaves. That's funny. Okay, here's our final one. It comes from Carlos R., who watches the Wendy Show on WFLD in Chicago. And Carlos writes, hey, Wendy. I went to go to the movie. I went to go see a movie when I met Hugh Jackman. Yeah, that's a good one. He came to the theater to surprise moviegoers. I touched his abs for a quick second while taking the pic, and they were rock hard. Well, thank you, Carlos. I love Celebrity Fan Out. Listen, if you ever have an encounter with a celebrity, sharing is funny. Go to wendyshow.com. Love you for watching. See you next time on Wendy. Bye.
We're clear.
Hey, wait, hey. Don't go anywhere. This clip is over, but don't worry. I got you. Head over to wendyshow.com to watch celebrity interviews, exclusive backstage videos, the inside scoop, and the full segment of juicy hot topics. See it first and see it all now at the new wendyshow.com.